What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Medical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. I'm your host, Shegun. So, guys, we are back to analyze another player. A lot of analysis on players going on. But I think when we get the feedback from you guys about how you enjoy the analysis and how you enjoy the breakdown of those players, it's always a thing of pleasure. And we always want to do that whenever we feel that there is a player that we should be talking about. I feel we will try to talk about it. And today is such a kind of player where there might not have been big reports about the player, but I think it's a player that, having watched him quite a number of times this season, especially this season, because I've been watching him a lot. But I think looking at his development this season, I know him before, but looking at this season, I'm like, we have to talk about him. And that person is no one else than Newcastle's left back, Lewis Hall. I think, guys, I remember the time I've watched the guy play for Chelsea. His debut, I watched that game. I'm trying to remember the match now, but I watched the game and I watched a couple of games he played for Chelsea before the end of that first season that he had at Chelsea. And I was like, this guy is a solid player going forward. That was what I said. The quality this guy has going forward, it's amazing. I think the guy, that energy, that drive. And you guys will remember at one point that season, the guy was one of the shining lights in that Chelsea side for that particular first season. And all of a sudden, we had that the guy had moved to Newcastle. A big fee, I think, was between 30 to 40 million pounds. Then I was like, I already knew then that Chelsea might regret this because the guy obviously had the talent. Yes, I knew that. And I think I also spoke about it that time off camera to some guys that, although Lewis Hall had the push from that first season with Chelsea, that cameo season, this debut season, with Chelsea, I would believe that defensively he had a lot to improve upon, right? Defensively, he had a lot of things to improve upon, but you cannot deny the quality offensively. And when he went to Newcastle, I was like, Chelsea might regret this, but Chelsea, as you guys know, Chelsea is always in the business of, trying to sell and just anybody. They try to sell anybody, but I felt they should have kept that boy. And now he has gone to Newcastle, and now at 21 years of age, we are beginning to see a lot more about his development, and I think that's very, very important. That it's not just a one-season wonder or just a few months wonder. It's beginning to show that it's going to be a mainstay. And I was like, I feel, and this is my opinion, I feel that Lewis Hall should be one of the players that Manchester United should be looking at. And so that's why I said, let us analyze him. So let's quickly go into his qualities. First and foremost, his attacking qualities are undeniable. In terms of number one, he's a player that brings intensity to the game, intensity and speed. This is something that you have to say, and that's why I have to also praise Newcastle's recruitment model. Newcastle is one of the teams in the Premier League where you can see the recruitment model and plan clear. You're not confused about it. And that of the sort team is Wolves, funny enough. Man City, you can also understand the recruitment model. Arsenal, you can. So there are teams like that you can understand the recruitment models. And I feel Newcastle is one of them. Newcastle buys players that have the intensity and the speed. You can see it all through. And that's why we've done some analysis of their players, likes of Tonali, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes. We always say the same thing: intensity, speed, energy, right? And I think that's what Lewis Hall brings. So Lewis Hall brings that intensity, that speed. It's kind of player that you need to help your team reach their intensity levels, right? Yeah. So, but attacking, obviously, he has the ability to push your team forward, and I think it's just kind of like a traditional left back that you would always have in terms of that left back that is high flying. That left back that is able to go front, come back, right? So I think he's that. And for me, I always have a feeling when I look at Lewis Hall, and I try to imagine if a Sir Alex was seeing the Premier League coaching Manchester United, I believe one of the players Sir Alex would be looking at is a Lewis Hall. I think when you look at the kind of fullbacks that Sir Alex liked, Patrice Evra, even Butner, right? You see that, don't be surprised. Lewis Hall can be one of those players that Alex Ferguson will look at, really. And so I think he has the ability to push forward and also come back. That energy, he has it in his game. And I think not just that, because, that was quite evident when he came on board on Chelsea. The first few months of Chelsea that we watched him, we saw that his guy has a quality of pushing forward. But also, I think now in his game, the guy has an ability to manipulate through space in terms of build up, especially. I'm very, very impressed with what I've seen so far this season. When you give him the ball, the ability to decide what he wants to do. So it's not just someone that you give the ball and just the guy just wants to just bully it out. out of lack of initiative. He's someone that collects the ball quite calm. He's someone that understands when to do a quick one touch and bypass the opponent in that area. He's someone that understands when there's necessarily need for skill. Someone that understands when you have to just keep it simple and do one pass and move on. He's someone that also understands when to carry the ball and drive. And I think I'm beginning to see that development in him. I'm going to say, right, this guy is actually improving this facet of his game. And I think it's very, very nice, that ability. Also, I think while he's doing all these things, there's something that always amazes me also, is the fact that the way the ball is very close to his feet while he does all this. I think he's someone that is very easy also to dispossess. Very, very difficult, to dispossess. Very, very difficult to dispossess, because when he does all those things, even in tight spaces, the ball is close to his feet. I know there are some moments where one or two moments where he can forget to push the ball forward, but for most parts, the ball is close to his feet while he does all those things and he's just trying to retain possession. And I'm like, this is nice. And I think that's one of the things that also helps him when he's passing the build up and he's trying to. And you can see even most times Newcastle tries to build up through his side. When they're trying to pass it, most times they use a Lewis Hall side and even a Trippier side to bypass, right? They use his side most times. And I think it's a testament to the quality that he has in the ability to manipulate space, the ability to keep the ball close to his feet when he's moving. And I think even in his push that I said earlier, it's now not just direct, because when he was at Chelsea, you could see at that beginning stage, it was always moving in straight. But I think now he's having the qualities of his game in the sense of to even at certain times, based on the instruction of the manager, to also drive into space. And I think that's a very good quality, especially in modern football. You need to have that as a left back to move into space, because also in the attacking side of things, it helps your attacker, your winger you are playing with, because the winger can push out wide while you can operate in, right? Offering different kind of difficulty to your opponent. Also, if you have a winger like maybe a Matheus Cunha that moves in, you can also be one to push out and to help and to frustrate teams. I think that's what Patrick Dogu also has been doing under Ruben Amorim and even under Michael Carrick, right? But in a different kind of way, because that's why Michael Carrick has always tried to use him when he was fit. That's Dogu at that side. So because of you can offer that, and I think Lewis Hall offered us in terms of helping the dynamism between wingers and him pushing. He stays out wide. If you stay out wide, he can also help inside. And I think also in the midfield, it helps because he can come into the midfield and be that vertical push. That vertical push is someone that you can receive the ball and carry the ball in the midfield and push and try to press or even put a lot of acceleration in that center. And I think that's very, very good. I think that's the right dynamic. Yes, it has to be done very carefully. But it's someone that he has shown that they can do that, and it's very, very good quality. Something that we don't necessarily have right now. If you're looking at it, Luke Shaw doesn't necessarily give us those coming into the midfield and push, right? Luke Shaw has what is good at, but Lewis Hall will give us that dynamics, really. Now, his crossing, I think it's quite decent, but I believe he can improve upon it. He can improve upon it, obviously. I think he can improve upon it. And I think because this is why he needs to improve upon it in terms of crossing and even cutbacks, is the fact that because of the way he plays, I see him arriving more in the final third a lot more, because of if you are telling him to push. And so we need those deliveries. And the crossing needs to be very, very good. The cutbacks needs to be very, very good. He's decent currently, but I believe 21 years of age, he still can improve on the cutback and the crossing. I think if he does that, it will be amazing. And I think a testament of this is maybe, for example, for us United fans, when you see the duties of the likes of Patrice Evra towards the end of his career, it was amazing. That was like a model for all left backs. The way Patrice Evra would arrive, not just out wide, but even inside, to have some shots, you remember? To even pass the ball, to even create some difficult situations. That was Patrice Evra, I think was very, very good. And I think the Lewis Hall would grow. I think I would want to see, look at the Patrice Evra, look at how Patrice Evra does in the attacking side of things. And I think you also have to emulate that. So the nice crosses, the cutbacks, good now. They are nice now, but I think he also needs to improve upon it. Defensively, I think this is where he has improved well. As I said earlier, why I can even talk about him coming to United is because defensively he has improved. I think the guy is a dogged kind of defender. He's someone that is always ready to mark. He's always ready to put his body on the line. He's always ready, to be involved in duels. And I think that's very, very good. That's very, very good. I think that's what that's always been a question mark, really. And when I analyze him, that can he be this and not just pushing forward? Can he also be committed defensively? And I think he is committed defensively. He doesn't give up on duels, doesn't give up on tackles. He's always there. And I think also the guy has a good physique. He understands the Premier League. I think he has adapted to the demands for the Premier League. I've never even seen him to struggle, but the physique is there to understand the rigors of the Premier League, right? So I think this season I saw a start of him playing 23 games for Newcastle this season, and it has been a very good stay in that side. So why not? I think the guy understands exactly the Premier League. United is looking for players in the Premier League. I think Lewis Hall is one player that has been in the Premier League. So I think it's very, very difficult to dribble against. It's very, very difficult to dribble against, and I think I've watched him against very, very good forwards. Recently, I think I watched the game against Chelsea Newcastle. Yeah, I watched that game and I saw the situation between him and Cole Palmer. I saw even Manchester United against us. I saw the situation between him and Brian Mbeumo. So I've seen a lot also about him. Even Yamal, we've seen some things about him and Yamal. So you just believe that there's something there. Right? There's something there. The guy is solid. So I think the recoveries, the tackles, the interceptions, the guy is quite good, and the signs are there that the guy is going to improve more. And I think it's someone that we should be looking at seriously. Luke Shaw is not getting any younger, and you're looking for a left back. I think Lewis, for me, should be the guy. I think there should be any debate, really. I think at this moment, Lewis Hall should be the guy. Now, I think also, let me say this last, I think in terms of header, I think defensively, he has to still improve his heading defensively. I don't think he's bad, but I think he has to improve better. I think offensively also, and that's what also brings me to the correlation with him, Patrice Evra, and that's what Patrice Evra also developed into being very, very good with the head, in not just defensively but also offensive, right? And so I think I would just say you are decent in terms of defensive area duels. Offensive, you still have to do a lot of work. But I just believe that it's someone that has the qualities to develop on both areas, really on both areas. And I think will be really, really, really nice. Really, really nice. So I think whenever you watch him, he's always a menace to teams in terms of what he gives Newcastle and what he gives Chelsea for the few games that he played there. And I think the guy is showing that progression. I think this is someone that United should be looking at to get. If not this summer, I think should be looking at to get in the next 2 summers. And I think it was just good for me to analyze Lewis Hall. I think it's a player United should be looking at. So guys, let me have your opinion on Lewis Hall. I've given you my own analysis. What do you think about him? Do you think there's another left back that we should be getting? Because I think we are a team that should be planning ahead. If not this summer, but I think why not this summer? Why not this summer? Right? Why not this summer? So, but let's look at it. If it's someone that we should be looking at this summer or not, let's have that discussion. What are your opinions about him? Do you think there are certain things I say you don't agree with? Or certain things you agree with and want to expound on? Feel free to do that. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.